The shotgun blast shattered the summer night like God's own thunderclap, splintering the wooden fence between 142 and 144, Elmwood Drive, and sending Elijah sprawling into the dirt, his heart pounding wilder than the coyotes that howled back from the arroyos beyond the neighborhood's edge. Isaiah's scream tore through the chaos. "Elijah, baby, stay with me," as he dropped to his knees, blood blooming dark on his white tank top like an accusation, the metallic tang of it mixing with the ozone of the storm rolling in from the Rockies. In that frozen heartbeat, as Karen's silhouette loomed in the gap she'd just blown open, her eyes wild with the fury of a woman who'd mistaken her cul-de-sac kingdom for holy ground, Elijah realized this wasn't just about them anymore. It was about every queer kid who'd ever hidden a kiss in the shadows of small-town America. Elijah had always believed in second chances, the kind that tasted like fresh tortillas from Isaiah's abuela's recipe and the sharp bite of craft IPA after a long shift at the auto shop. They'd met 2 years back in Albuquerque, at a dive bar off Route 66 where the jukebox spat out Selena and the air hung heavy with fry grease and unspoken longings. Elijah, with his easy laugh and hands calloused from wrenching engines, had been nursing a beer when Isaiah slid onto the stool next to him, all sharp cheekbones and that crooked smile that could disarm a room. "You look like you could use a dance partner who doesn't step on your boots," Isaiah had said, his voice a low rumble over the mariachi beat. And just like that, the world tilted. They'd built something real in the dusty sprawl of New Mexico's biggest city. Late nights tangled in sheets that smelled like sage and sweat. Mornings where Isaiah's fingers traced the scars on Elijah's back from a childhood spent dodging his father's belt in the trailer parks of Roswell. Elijah was black, raised Baptist with a Bible verse for every bruise, and Isaiah was Chicano, his Catholicism a patchwork of saints and superstitions that made him light candles for luck before every tattoo session at the shop downtown. Together, they were a quiet revolution, 2 men in love, unapologetic in a state where the sun baked prejudice into the red earth. When the lease on their cramped apartment ran out, Isaiah had scrolled Zillow one rainy April evening, his head on Elijah's lap as thunder grumbled over the Sandias. "What about this?" he'd murmured, tilting the screen to show a fixer-upper bungalow on Elmwood Drive, in the heart of Willow Creek, a suburb that clung to Albuquerque's edge like a half-forgotten dream. It was affordable, with a backyard big enough for a garden and a porch swing for lazy Sundays. "We could make it ours. Plant chiles. Hang those string lights you like." Elijah had kissed his temple, tasting the salt of his skin. "Hell yeah. Let's do it." They closed on the house in May, under a sky so blue it hurt to look at. The moving truck groaned up the driveway, unloading boxes stamped with sharp scrawls: kitchen, abuela's pots, Elijah's tools, our bed, handle with care. Neighbors trickled out like extras in a feel-good movie, Mr. Hargrove from across the street, a retired vet with a limp and a wave, the Ramirez family 2 doors down, their kids already kicking a soccer ball against the curb. And then there was Karen Whitaker, 144 Elmwood, peering over her rose bushes with a smile that didn't reach her eyes, her blonde bob impeccable even in the heat. "Welcome to the neighborhood," she'd called, extending a casserole dish that steamed with what she swore was her famous tuna bake. "I'm Karen. If you need anything, recipes, church recommendations, whatever, just holler." Isaiah had thanked her, charming as ever, while Elijah hung back, wiping grease from his hands on his jeans. Something about her gaze lingered too long on the rainbow flag they'd tacked to the garage door, a subtle flick of judgment that made his stomach twist. The first weeks blurred into a haze of paint fumes and laughter. They sanded floors until their knees ached, Isaiah belting out Bad Bunny while Elijah hammered shelves into the walls. On their first night in the house, they christened the kitchen with takeout from El Pinto, green chili enchiladas that burned just right, and slow danced to Nina Simone on a Bluetooth speaker, Isaiah's breath warm against Elijah's neck. "This is it. Mi amor," Isaiah whispered. "Our forever spot." Elijah pulled him closer, the world narrowing to the beat of their hearts. Damn right, but Willow Creek wasn't the utopia Zillow promised. It was a grid of split levels built in the 70s, where HOAs enforced lawn lengths like scripture and block parties doubled as status checks. Karen was the unofficial queen bee, PDA president, book club organizer, the woman who baked pies for the fire department and whispered about those people who let their yards go to seed. She'd lived there 30 years, since her husband Tom got transferred from Boeing, raising 2 boys who'd fled to colleges on the East Coast and never looked back. Now, with Tom golfing in Scottsdale half the year, Karen's kingdom was her crusade. Started small. A note in their mailbox. Friendly reminder, fences must be 6 feet high per HOA bylaws. For privacy, they hadn't put up a fence yet, figuring the backyard's chain link was fine for now. Elijah shrugged it off over coffee the next morning. "Nosy much," Isaiah chuckled, but his eyes darkened. "She's got that vibe, you know, like she's sizing us up." Then came the glances at their pride flag, the way Karen's garden club ladies clustered on her porch, voices dropping when Elijah jogged by in his tank top, sweat gleaming on his skin. One evening, as they grilled burgers in the backyard, Isaiah flipping patties with a flourish, Elijah cracking open a Dos Equis, the fence rattled. Karen's face appeared between the slats, her smile tight. "Smells divine. What's the occasion?" "Just Friday," Isaiah called back, waving tongs. "Want one?" She hesitated, then shook her head. "Oh, no, watching my figure. But say, have you boys joined the neighborhood watch? We've had incidents lately. Strangers lurking." Her eyes darted to their linked hands, then away. Elijah felt the heat rise in his chest. "We're good, thanks. Got our own watch." He nodded at the .38 revolver in the kitchen drawer, a relic from his uncle's collection. Karen's laugh was brittle as she retreated. That night, as they lay in the dark, ceiling fans stirring the air like a lazy heartbeat, Isaiah traced circles on Elijah's chest. "You think she's onto us?" Elijah turned, cupping his face. "If she is, she'll learn quick. We ain't hiding." They kissed slow and deep, bodies arching in the familiar rhythm that chased shadows away. But sleep came fitful, the fence's shadow stretching long across the wall. By July, the notes escalated to emails from the HOA board, Karen's fingerprints all over them. Excessive noise after 10 p.m., but it was just their music, low and loving. Unapproved signage, the flag again. Isaiah wanted to laugh it off, but Elijah saw the toll. The way his lover's shoulders hunched after shifts, the hesitation before waving at neighbors. One sweltering afternoon, Elijah came home from the shop to find Isaiah on the porch, staring at a stack of flyers on the steps. Petition TO enforce community standards. They read in bold Arial. Protect our families, signed to review incompatible lifestyles in Willow Creek. At the bottom, sponsored by concerned residents. Contact Karen Whitaker. Elijah's blood ran cold. "What the fuck?" He crumpled one, veins throbbing in his temples. Isaiah's voice was steady, but his hands shook. "It's her. She's coming for us." They burned the flyers in the grill that night, flames licking high as the stars wheeled overhead. "We fight this," Elijah said, pulling Isaiah into his arms. "This is our home." But as the embers died, doubt crept in like smoke. How deep did her roots run in this soil? The block party in August was the breaking point. Willow Creek's annual shindig. Picnic tables groaning under potato salad and jello molds. Kids chasing fireflies as the sun dipped gold behind the mesas. Elijah and Isaiah showed up with a cooler of Coronas and Isaiah's famous guac, determined to win hearts. "Mr. Hargrove clapped Elijah on the back. "Hell of a grill you got there, son." "And the Ramirez girl, Sophia," begged Isaiah for a face paint demo, her braids flying as he turned her into a tiger. Karen held court by the dessert table, her sundress crisp, a megaphone dangling from her wrist like a scepter. When she spotted them, her smile sharpened. "Boys, so glad you made it. Try the cobbler, it's divine." A close. Her perfume was cloying, like wilted lilies. As dusk fell and strings of bulbs flickered on, the music shifted to country croon Garth Brooks, all heartache and hay bales. Couples swayed on the grass, and Elijah tugged Isaiah's hand. "Dance with me." Isaiah's grin lit the dark. "Always." They moved slow, bodies flush, Isaiah's head on Elijah's shoulder. Whispers rippled like wind through cottonwoods. "Did you see?" In broad daylight, Karen's voice cut through, amplified by the megaphone. "Folks, a quick announcement, our petition's gaining steam. We all want Willow Creek to stay the family haven it is, right? No room for distractions." The music stuttered. Heads turned. Elijah's grip tightened on Isaiah's waist. "Ignore her," he murmured, but Isaiah pulled back, eyes blazing. "No. Enough." He strode to the table, the crowd parting like the Red Sea. "Karen, what's this petition really about? Us? Because if it is, say it plain. We're not distractions, we're neighbors. Paying taxes, mowing lawns, loving each other like anyone else." Karen's face flushed puce. "Isaiah, dear, this isn't personal. It's about values. The Bible says." "Fuck your Bible," Elijah growled, stepping up beside him, the crowd gasping. "It says love thy neighbor, too. Or did you skip that verse?" The air crackled. Sophia's mom crossed herself. "Mr. Hargrove cleared his throat. Karen's megaphone trembled. "This is exactly why. Immorality spreading like weeds." Isaiah's laugh was bitter. "Weeds? Lady, your hate's the only poison here." He turned, grabbing Elijah's hand, and they walked out to scattered claps and stunned silence, the fireworks blooming overhead like defiant stars. Back home, they collapsed on the porch swing, Coronas sweating in their fists. "That felt good," Isaiah said, but his voice cracked. Elijah pulled him close, lips brushing his ear. "It did. And we're not leaving." Their kiss was fierce, a vow sealed in the New Mexico night. But as crickets chorused, Elijah glimpsed movement in Karen's window, curtains twitching, a shadow plotting. September brought monsoon rains that turned Elmwood Drive into a river of red mud, mirroring the storm brewing in Karen's heart. She'd always prided herself on being the glue of Willow Creek, the one who organized canned goods drives for the homeless shelter downtown, who baked muffins for the elementary school's bake sale even after her boys left for Harvard and Yale. Tom called her the pillar, but lately, his golf trips stretched longer, his calls shorter. Keep the home fires burning. Han, he'd say, and Karen did, with a ferocity that bordered on obsession. The petition had started as a whisper after the block party. A few signatures from her garden club gals, murmurs about property values plummeting, and kids seeing things they shouldn't. But Isaiah's confrontation lit a fuse. By week's end, she'd printed 100 copies, stapled Bible verses to the back, Leviticus 18 verse 22, her favorite, and slipped them under doors like communion wafers. For the good of the community, she'd tell herself in the mirror, ignoring the tremor in her hands. Elijah and Isaiah doubled down. They hosted a barbecue for allies, Mr. Hargrove brought ribs, the Ramirez's a cooler of tamales, and under the harvest moon, stories flowed like the Rio Grande. Sophia's dad, Javier, admitted he'd lost a cousin to conversion therapy in the 90s. Hargrove shared tales from Nam, where love didn't ask permission. You boys remind me of my service buddy, Frankie, the old man said, voice gravelly. Never came home. But he'd have loved this spread. Laughter mingled with tears, and by night's end, a counterpetition circulated, Willow Creek welcomes all. Karen watched from her kitchen window, teacup rattling in its saucer. How dare they? Turning her haven into Sodom? She fired off emails to the HOA board, 3 retirees and a realtor who owed her favors, demanding an emergency meeting. This is about protecting our way of life, she typed, fingers flying. But doubt gnawed. Tom's voice in her head. From years ago, after too much scotch, Karen, not everyone's the enemy. Remember Aunt Edith? Edith, the spinster aunt with her roommate in Santa Fe, the one Karen had shunned at family reunions. She died alone. Photos of 2 women tucked in her Bible. Karen had burned them. The HOA meeting convened in the community center, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry hornets. Karen stood at the podium, petition in hand, 40 signatures strong. We've got to act. These influences are eroding our values. I propose a vote to pressure 142 Elmwood to comply or sell. Murmurs rippled. Javier Ramirez leaned forward. Comply with what? Exactly? Loving their partner? That's not a crime. Heads nodded. Hargrove grunted agreement. Karen's cheeks burned. It's indecent. The children. Sophia's 10. Javier shot back. She knows love when she sees it. More than some adults. The vote failed. 5-3. Karen stormed out, rain lashing her umbrella like accusations. At home, she slammed cabinets, spilling flour across the counter. Lord, give me strength, she prayed, but the words tasted like ash. Meanwhile, across the fence, love deepened its roots. Elijah surprised Isaiah with tickets to the state fair, cotton candy and funnel cakes under neon lights, Ferris wheel cars swaying as they kissed at the top, Albuquerque sprawling below like a promise. Remember our first date? Elijah murmured, wind whipping his locks. Isaiah grinned. Bar fight over nachos? How could I forget? They laughed, but Isaiah's eyes held shadows. You think she'll stop? Elijah's jaw set. If she doesn't, we will. But privately, fear coiled in his gut. His mama had called from Roswell. Heard about your neighbor troubles. Baby. Come home if it gets bad. Home. Wasn't this home now? October's chill crept in with falling leaves, turning Elmwood gold and crimson. Karen escalated. Subtlety be damned. She reported their illegal pride flag to code enforcement, falsely claiming it violated sign ordinances. Inspectors came and went, shrugging. "It's fine, ma'am." She slashed their tires one foggy dawn, Elijah's truck and Isaiah's Civic, rubber hissing like vipers. They filed a police report, but the cop, a Willow Creek lifer, eyed them sideways. "Kids probably. We'll look into it." Isaiah inked a massive mural on their garage door that weekend. Two intertwined hands, one dark, one tan, bursting from a desert bloom of cacti and sunflowers, colors vivid as a heartbeat. "Art therapy," he joked, paint smudging his forearms. Neighbors slowed their cars, some honking approval, others accelerating past. Karen saw red, literally, the crimson petals mocking her roses. She gathered her troops, a prayer circle in her living room, candles flickering as they clasped hands. "Lord, cast out the demons in our midst," she intoned, voice quivering. But midway through, her phone buzzed, a text from Tom, "Staying in AZ another month. Love ya." The circle blurred. She blinked hard. That night, betrayal struck like lightning. Elijah's phone rang at midnight, unknown number. "Elijah, it's Hargrove. Listen, son. Karen got to my niece, the one renting my basement. Offered her a cut of the sale if she plants something. Evidence. Drugs. Maybe. To force you out." Elijah's world tilted. "Hargrove. Their ally? No, the niece. Greed's sharp edge. Why tell me?" "Frankie," Hargrove rasped. "He'd never forgive me for silence." Click. Elijah woke Isaiah, words tumbling like rocks. Isaiah sat up, eyes wide. "We confront her." Now. They crossed the yard in the moon's cold gaze, rain pattering soft. Karen answered the door in her robe, curlers askew, face paling at their silhouettes. "What? It's late. Cut the shit," Isaiah said, voice steel. "We know about the niece. The setup. You want us gone that bad?" Karen's mouth worked like a landed fish. It's for the best. You're destroying this place." Elijah stepped forward, rain dripping from his brow. "Destroying? We're living, Karen. Loving." "What's destroying you?" His voice broke, raw as an open wound. "Did no one ever love you like that? Fierce and free." She recoiled, clutching the doorframe. For a split second, vulnerability cracked her armor. Eyes glistening, lips trembling. "You don't know me. Then tell us," Isaiah urged, softer now. "Why us? Why this hate?" Thunder grumbled. Karen's gaze flicked to a faded photo on the hall table. Her and Tom, young and laughing, arm in arm at a beach. Because if you're happy, what does that say about me?" The words hung, a confession torn free. Silence stretched, rain a curtain between them. Elijah extended a hand. "It says you're human. Come to dinner tomorrow. No petitions. Just food. Talk." Karen stared at his palm, scarred and steady. Then the door shut, soft as a sigh. They trudged home, soaked and shaking. In bed, Isaiah curled against Elijah's chest. "Think she'll come?" Elijah kissed his hair. "Doesn't matter." We showed up, their bodies entwined, seeking solace in the familiar, slow thrusts, gasps mingling with the storm's roar, love a anchor in the gale. Dawn broke gray, and a note appeared in their mailbox. 7 p.m. Tuna casserole. K. Isaiah laughed, relief flooding. Progress. Elijah grinned. Or poison. Either way, we eat. But as they prepped the table, chili rellenos steaming, candles aglow, tires crunched outside. Not Karen. Police cruisers, lights flashing silent. Officers pounded the door. Elijah Hayes? Isaiah Morales? We have a warrant. Drugs found in your yard. Karen stood on her porch, arms crossed, triumph in her stance. The niece's work. Betrayals bitter fruit. The handcuffs bit into Elijah's wrists like accusations forged in ice. The cold metal a cruel echo of the rain that had finally stopped, leaving Elmwood Drive slick and treacherous under the cruiser lights. Isaiah twisted beside him, his tattooed arms flexing against restraint, eyes locked on Elijah's with a ferocity that said, "We're in this, always." "This is bullshit." Isaiah spat at the lead cop, a barrel-chested sergeant named Ruiz with a mustache like a broom bristle. "Planted." "You know it." Ruiz shrugged, reading from a clipboard. Anonymous tip. K9 unit hit paydirt baggies in the compost bin. Oxy. Looks like. He glanced at Karen's porch, where she hovered like a vulture in flannel, her face a mask of righteous concern. Procedure. Boys. You'll be out on bail by morning. Elijah's mind raced, fragments of the night colliding, the dinner invite, the fragile thaw in Karen's eyes, now shattered like their backyard gate. The cops hauled them into separate cars, the neighborhood stirring, lights flicking on, faces at windows, Sofia Ramirez clutching her stuffed bear, tears streaking her cheeks as Javier yelled, "This ain't right." At the station, the air reeked of stale coffee and despair, fluorescent hum underscoring the clang of cell doors. Elijah paced his holding tank, fists clenched, replaying Karen's confession. "If you're happy, what does that say about me? Was it fear? Or something uglier? Jealousy twisted into sabotage?" Isaiah, in the next cell, murmured through the bars, "Breathe, baby." Hargroves calling his lawyer buddy. "We're good." Bail came at 4 a.m., courtesy of Isaiah's shop owner, a burly dyke named Carla who'd snarled, "Nobody messes with my ink slingers." They emerged into the pre-dawn chill, Elijah's mama waiting in her Oldsmobile, eyes red-rimmed. "My boy," she whispered, pulling him into a hug that smelled of Aquanet and fried okra. "Come home to Roswell. This place is poison." "No, Mama." Elijah held her tight. "This is our fight." Isaiah nodded, squeezing her hand. "Family sticks, right?" She relented with a sigh, pressing 20s into their palms. "For coffee. Call me." Back at Elmwood by sunrise, the house loomed forlorn, yellow tape fluttering across the yard like mocking ribbons. Reporters had sniffed the arrest, local news vans idling, a cameraman zooming on the garage mural, now splashed with Sinner in red spray paint. Karen's handiwork, no doubt. They ignored the circus, collapsing into bed as exhaustion claimed them. Sleep was fitful, dreams of shotguns and crumbling fences, but waking tangled in each other grounded them. "We sue her ass," Isaiah declared over Huevos Rancheros, his voice muffled by a mouthful. "Defamation. False report. Carla knows a guy." Elijah nodded, but his heart ached deeper. "It's not just her. The whole system's rigged. Cops who look the other way. Neighbors who sign petitions instead of asking our names. He reached across the table, thumb stroking Isaiah's knuckles. But you're my why. Isaiah's eyes softened, heat building in the gaze that followed. They cleared the dishes slow, kisses escalating until Isaiah pinned Elijah against the counter, hands roaming with urgent need. Need you, he growled, lifting him onto the formica, jeans pooling at ankles. Elijah arched, gasping as Isaiah entered him. Deep, deliberate thrusts that blurred the world's edges. Love a fierce reclamation amid the wreckage. Post-coital glow faded with the knock at noon. Hargrove, hat in hand, face etched with regret. Niece confessed. Karen paid her $5,000, emptied her savings. Girls racked with guilt. He handed over a flash drive. Recordings. Karen ranting to her prayer group about purging the filth. Use it. Elijah's pulse thrummed. Why help now? Hargrove's eyes misted. Frankie died in '68, holding my hand in a Hanoi foxhole. AIDS took him in '87, back when Reagan wouldn't say the word. I owe you boys for reminding me to fight. They hugged it out, man to man. Then Elijah texted Javier. Town hall tonight? Rally? The reply buzzed instant. Hell yes. Bring guac. Willow Creek's community center swelled that evening, folding chairs scraping as locals poured in. More than the petition had ever mustered. Elijah and Isaiah stood at the mic, flanked by Hargrove and Javier, the flash drive's audio cued on a laptop. Karen slunk in late, perching in the back row, her face ashen. Ladies and gents, Elijah began, voice steady as rebar. We came to this neighborhood chasing the American dream. A home, a garden, a love that don't hurt nobody. But one woman's fear turned it to nightmare. He played the tape, Karen's voice, venomous and veiled. We can't let them normalize it. Next it'll be the schools, the churches, our boys coming home with ideas. Gasps rippled. Sophia tugged Javier's sleeve. Mrs. Whitaker sounds mean. A garden clubber stood, quivering. Karen, is this true? She bolted, chair clattering, but the room ignited. Speakers rose. A lesbian couple from the cul-de-sac's end, sharing their closet years. A trans teen, voice cracking, on suicide hotlines. Isaiah wrapped up, this ain't about us versus her. It's about choosing grace over grudge. Sign the welcome petition, not out of pity, but pride. Hands shot up, cheers erupted. As the crowd milled, Elijah caught Karen's eye across the lot. She'd lingered by her minivan, rain starting again. Wait, he called, jogging over. Isaiah hung back, watchful. Karen's mascara ran in black rivulets. I didn't mean for the police. Just the petition. Tom left me last month, for good. Said I was crushing souls, starting with his. Her laugh was hollow. And you too. So damn alive. It burned. Elijah's chest tightened, pity warring with rage. Hate's a heavy load, Karen. Drop it. Come to therapy with us, community counselors queer friendly. Or don't. But leave the drama at your door. She nodded, numb, and drove off into the downpour. November whispered in with cottonwoods shedding like confetti. Thanksgiving aromas wafting, turkey and tamales blending on Elmwood. The charges dropped. The niece testified, Karen's bank records damning. She sold 144, fleeing to her sisters in Phoenix. The house a for sale ghost. Elijah and Isaiah hosted the block's first queer and kin potluck, tables groaning under diverse delights. Pozole, pecan pie, lumpia from the new Filipino family down the street. Laughter echoed, stories swapped, no petitions, just presence. As dusk fell, Elijah pulled Isaiah onto the porch swing, the same one where doubt had once sat heavy. Think we won? Isaiah nuzzled his neck. We survived. That's victory. Their lips met, soft and sure, the neighborhood's lights twinkling like blessings. But karma, that sly southwest wind, had one more twist. December brought snow rare, fat flakes blanketing the desert in hush. Elijah shoveled the drive when the call came. His mama, voice trembling. Elijah. It's Isaiah's abuela. Hospice. She wants to meet you proper. Isaiah's face crumpled. Abuela Rosa, the matriarch who'd smuggled tamales across the border and whispered rosaries over her son's coming out. Cancer had come swift, a thief in the night. They flew to El Paso that afternoon, hands clasped through turbulence, landing in a city of adobe warmth and unspoken grief. The hospice room smelled of sage and suffering, machines beeping a dirge. Abuela lay frail, her once strong hands veined like arroyo maps, but her eyes sparked at their entrance. Mijo, she breathed to Isaiah, then to Elijah, and you, the one who holds his heart. Then, acercate. Elijah knelt, throat tight. She pressed a rosary into his palm, beads worn smooth by prayers. For protection. Amor verdadero, no demonios, solo Dios, true love. No demons, only God. Isaiah wept then, head on her lap, Elijah's arm around them both. Te quiero, abuela, I love you. She smiled, fading. Say. And you, Elijah, keep him dancing. Like in the old songs, she slipped away at midnight, under a sky thick with stars. They buried her beside Isaiah's abuelo in a cemetery overlooking the Rio, mariachis playing Cielito Lindo as dirt fell soft. Back in Albuquerque, the snow melted, leaving mud and memory. Christmas Eve, they lit luminarias along the walk, paper bags glowing with candles, a new Mexican tradition for guiding spirits home. Neighbors trickled by, Hargrove with eggnog, Javier with pan dulce. To Rosa, they toasted, flames dancing. In bed later, Isaiah traced Elijah's ribs. She liked you, Elijah chuckled, tears pricking. Liked? She claimed me. Their lovemaking was tender, a liturgy of loss and light, kisses like communions, bodies a sanctuary. January thawed Willow Creek into tentative bloom, the desert's resilience mirroring the slow mend in Elijah and Isaiah's bones. The potluck had sparked a ripple, diversity committee formed, pride flags sprouting like spring weeds on porches. But scars lingered. Isaiah's tattoos hid faint stretch marks from stress eating, and Elijah woke some nights, shotgun echoes in his dreams, reaching for the revolver under the pillow. Work grounded them. Elijah's auto shop buzzed with regulars. Heard about your drama, man. Beers on me. And Isaiah's ink sessions turned therapeutic, clients bearing souls alongside skin. One afternoon, a burly biker rolled up, sleeves rolled to reveal a fresh ally, script on his forearm. For my kid brother, he grunted. Out since 16. This town's changing. Thanks to you too. Elijah wiped his hands, grinning. Damn right. Swing by for that carburetor tune-up on the house. Evenings, they reclaimed the backyard. Chiles pushing green through soil. String lights twinkling against the fence they'd finally erected. Solid cedar, 6 feet high, etched with intertwined initials. Our fortress, Isaiah quipped, hammering the last post. Elijah watched, love swelling like monsoon clouds. How had this man, fierce, funny, unflinching, chosen him? Date night found them at the Chemo Theater downtown. Art Deco ghosts whispering as an indie flick unspooled. A queer road trip across the Southwest. Lovers chasing sunsets and self. In the dark, Isaiah's hand in Elijah's, fingers laced like vows. Post-credits. Over green chili cheeseburgers at a 24-hour joint, Isaiah grew quiet. Abuela would have loved this. Her and Abuelo 60 years, through strikes and storms. Elijah squeezed his thigh under the table. Like us. We'll hit 60. Gray and grizzled, arguing over who burns the pozole. Isaiah's laugh bubbled, but his eyes held oceans. Promise. Swear on your ink. They kissed across the formica, heedless of the waitress's wink. Spring uncoiled in fits, wildflowers rioting along I-40, Willow Creek's annual cleanup drawing record volunteers. Elijah and Isaiah led a team gutting the old Whitaker place, now owned by a young couple from Austin, Mia and Lena, both engineers, their rescue pup yipping amid paint cans. Heard the saga, Mia said, roller in hand. Karen sounds like a Lifetime villain. Lena snorted, taping trim. Karma's a bitch. Sold at a loss, I bet. As walls freshened from beige to sage. Stories surfaced. Karen's garden club disbanding in scandal. Her sister spilling tea to the journal. Always controlling. Tom bolted years ago in spirit. Pity tempered Elijah's anger. Isaiah's too. Hurt people hurt, he mused one evening, pruning roses. But we don't have to. Yet conflict simmered elsewhere. Elijah's mama visited in April, her Bible tucked under arm, eyes scanning the mural like contraband. Dinner was tense, chili con carne steaming. Grace said over clinking forks. Proud of you boys, she finally said, voice thick. For standing tall. Your daddy. He'd have come around. Eventually, Elijah's throat closed. Daddy's belt. His slurs. Ain't no son of mine. The night Elijah left at 17. Backpack slung. Hitchhiking to ABQ. Isaiah's hand on his knee steadied. Means the world, Mrs. Hayes. She smiled. Tentative. Call me Mama. And Isaiah. Teach me that guac recipe. By May. The neighborhood bloomed queer-coded. Rainbow crosswalks petitioned at Town Hall. A youth center fundraiser headlined by local drag queens. Elijah emceed. Mic in hand. Locks tied back. Willow Creek ain't perfect, but we're trying. For every kid hiding in the closet. Every elder silenced. This is your home too. Cheers thundered. Isaiah hooped from the front row, eyes shining pride. But betrayal's echo lingered in subtler forms. A letter arrived mid-June, forwarded from Phoenix. Karen's handwriting, shaky loops. Elijah, Isaiah, I saw the news clip. You won. Therapy's hard. Unpacking Edith. Tom, my own buried wants. A woman, once, in college. Scared me straight. Sorry doesn't fix, but it start. If you'll have it, coffee, neutral ground. Isaiah read it aloud on the porch. Swing creaking. Trap? Elijah pondered, sipping hibiscus tea. Or redemption arc? They mulled, hearts wary. One coffee, Isaiah decided. Boundaries firm. No more fences blown. The meet was at a strip mall Starbucks in the city's neutral sprawl, Formica tables. Baristas calling orders like bingo. Karen arrived early, thinner, hair unstyled, clutching a latte like a shield. Thanks for coming, her voice wobbled. Elijah sat across, Isaiah beside. No weapons this time? Dry humor masked the edge. She winced. God, no. That night, I blacked out rage. Therapy calls it displaced grief. Tom's divorce papers finalized last week. And Edith's letters. I kept them, after all. Isaiah leaned in. What changed? Karen's eyes met his. You. That dinner invite. No one extended grace after. Everything. Panicked. Doubled down. Stupid. Elijah's fingers drummed the table. Hurt us deep, Karen. Trust shattered. But humans fuck up. Question is, can you build back? She nodded, tears plinking into foam. Trying. Volunteering at the shelter now, queer youth drop-in. Humbling. They talked 2 hours. Awkward at first, then easing. Shared recipes, her tuna bake, redeemed with green chiles. Neighborhood gossip, Hargrove's new hip. Sophia's straight-A report card. Parting. Hugs tentative but real. One step, Elijah said. Driving home, Isaiah exhaled. Think it's genuine? Elijah glanced over, hand on his thigh. Time tells. But damn, feels human. Summer scorched in. Monsoons teasing relief. Their anniversary hit July 4th, 2 years since the bar. The dance. Fireworks boomed over the bosque as they picnicked on the Rio Grande's banks. Blanket spread with prosciutto and prickly pear margaritas. Remember the fight? Isaiah teased, feeding him a strawberry. Elijah grinned, juice-staining lips. You threw a punch for me. Hero shit. Isaiah's gaze heated. Always will. They made love under the stars. River murmuring approval. Passionate. Unhurried. Bodies a map of scars and stars. But climax brewed in August's haze. A developer eyed Willow Creek for revitalization. Condos. Not community. Rumors swirled. Buyouts. Teardowns. Elijah's shop faced closure. Isaiah's clients scattered. At a packed town hall, suits pitched glossy renders. Modern living for forward-thinking families. Javier fired first. This is home. Not a flip site. Cheers. Then Karen, yes. Karen stood. Voice amplified by mic feedback. I sold out once. Chasing control. Don't let them strip your soul. Willow Creek's heart beats in its people, not profit. Stunned applause. The vote? Nay. Unanimous. Suits slunk out, tails tucked. Post-meeting. Beers at the dive where it began. Elijah raised a toast. To karma and kicking ass. Isaiah clinked. Eyes locking. To us. September's equinox brought harvest moons. Full and fat. Karen hosted her first, amends, barbecue, tuna-free, veggie skewers and vulnerability. Elijah and Isaiah attended, hands linked. Progress, she said, flipping burgers, her smile genuine now. As leaves turned, Elijah proposed not with rings, but vows etched on leather journals. promises of forever, inked like Isaiah's art. They exchanged under the garage mural, stars witnesses. "You're my horizon," Elijah whispered. Isaiah's tears fell free. "And you're my sun, love sealed with a kiss, deep as canyons." October wrapped Willow Creek in amber haze, the air crisp with pinyon smoke from backyard fires, a scent that clung to Elijah's flannel as he raked leaves into piles that crackled underfoot. 2 years in the bungalow, and it felt eternal now, walls echoing with laughter, garden heavy with poblanos that Isaiah roasted black over mesquite coals. Life had settled into a rhythm. Shop shifts bleeding into tattoo appointments, evenings on the swing plotting trips to Zion or the Grand Canyon, bodies colliding in the dark with the ease of old lovers. Karen's redemption arc unfolded quiet but steady. Coffee morphed to group hangs, her at their potlucks, sharing stories of Edith's roommate, Clara, who'd taught her to Charleston in speakeasies. "She smelled like jasmine," Karen confessed one crisp night, wineglass trembling. "I ran scared." "Regrets a ghost," Isaiah nodded, arm around Elijah. "Ghosts fade when you name 'em." She dated tentatively, a librarian from the Queer Center, soft-spoken with laugh lines. "First steps," she texted Elijah, a rainbow emoji tacked on. He showed Isaiah, smirking. "Who'd have thunk?" November's chill nipped at Thanksgiving, their table a mosaic. Mama Hayes's cornbread, Abuela's tamales, Isaiah's recipe, tears in the masa, Hargrove's venison, Javier's flan. Sophia, now 11, painted nails rainbow, chattered about her school project, Allyship in Action, featuring Elijah and Isaiah. Laughter flowed freer than gravy. Toasts to Rosa and Lost Frankies. Post-feast, Elijah and Isaiah walked the block, bellies full, hands swinging. "This," Elijah said, gesturing to lights aglow in windows, "this is the dream." Isaiah pulled him into a shadowed yard, kiss-hungry under street lamp haze. "You're the dream." December dusted snow again, rare magic turning cacti to lace. Holiday lights strung Elmwood like a vein of fireflies, their house the brightest, strings from the porch to the fence. A menorah beside the menorah, Mama's gift. Hanukkah nod to Elijah's lapsed roots. Christmas Eve luminarias guided carolers, a mix of Baptists and Brujas, voices blending Silent Night with Feliz Navidad. New Year's dawned with mimosas and resolutions. Isaiah's, more ink, less worry. Elijah's, build that deck with a hot tub. They sealed it in the shower. Steam fogging mirrors, water cascading as hands explored, teasing touches escalating to knees buckling. Love a slick, sacred slide. Spring 2026 bloomed defiant, wildflowers carpeting the arroyos. Willow Creek's first Pride March snaked through streets, rainbow banners whipping in wind. Elijah and Isaiah led on a float, vintage truck bedecked in chiles and cacti, blasting Gloria Trevi. Karen marched beside, sign high, better late than never. Sophia rode shotgun, tossing glitter. The crowd swelled, families, allies, elders with canes and cheers. At the park finale, speeches soared, Javier on solidarity, Hargrove on ghosts laid to rest. Isaiah took the mic last, voice thick, "Love ain't a battlefield. It's the home we build after the war." Elijah joined him, arm linked, as confetti rained. But drama's undercurrent stirred in May. A letter from Phoenix. Tom's will, probated sudden. Heart attack on the 9th hole. Karen inherited zilch, golf clubs, grudges. She called Elijah, voice hollow, heard through the grapevine. Can I come over? Not for pity. Just talk. They met on the porch. Corona's sweating. Karen looked older. Lines etched deeper. Tom wrote me out. Said I chose hate over heart. But watching you too. It's thawing something. Isaiah offered a blanket against the chill. Grief's a thief. But you're not alone. She stayed till stars pricked. Words weaving a fragile bridge. Stories of young love lost to convention. Regrets aired like laundry. Parting, she hugged them fierce. Thanks for not giving up on me. June's solstice sun baked the earth. Monsoons holding breath. Elijah's shop thrived. Expansions funded by community loans. Willow Creek Motors. Powered by pride. Isaiah's studio buzzed. Walls a gallery of survivor skin. Phoenixes rising. Hands entwined. Their third anniversary fell on a full moon. They drove to the Jemez Hot Springs. Moonlit pools steaming in volcanic rock. Stars a dome overhead. Naked in the water. Bodies buoyant. They talked futures. Adoption maybe. A kid with Isaiah's curls and Elijah's laugh. Or just us, Isaiah murmured. Floating close. That's plenty. Elijah kissed him slow. Water lapping. All I need. Lovemaking there was elemental waves of heat and release. Cries echoing off canyon walls. Love unbound as the Milky Way. July brought heat waves and headlines. National news on Willow Creek's queer haven turnaround. Op-eds praising the Karen Chronicles as cautionary grace. Book deals pinged Isaiah's agent. He'd started a graphic novel. Fence lines and fireworks. Elijah chuckled over breakfast. Fame's knockin'. Answer in boxers. August's climax cracked open on a thunderous eve. Storms rolled fierce. Lightning forking the sky as Elijah grilled steaks. Isaiah chopping cilantro. A knock rattled the door. Karen, drenched, eyes wild. It's Tom. Not dead, alive. Showed up at my motel. Begging forgiveness. Says he saw my pride pic online. Realized he misses us. The family we could have been. Elijah ushered her in. Towel offered. Isaiah poured tea. And you? Karen sank to a stool, shivering. Part of me wants to slam the door. But what if? Second chances, right? Like you gave me. Thunder boomed. Elijah glanced at Isaiah. Memory flashing. Shotgun night. Blood and betrayal. Chances ain't free. Set terms, therapy, truth. No half measures. She nodded. Resolve hardening. You're right. Damn. You two are wise beyond the bruises. They talked till lightning danced. Karen's sobs easing to strategy. When she left, cab lights fading into rain, Isaiah turned to Elijah. Think she'll take it? Elijah pulled him close. Her call. We did our part. September's harvest moon swelled. Child's ripening red as redemption. Karen texted updates. Couples counseling. Rocky, but real. They replied thumbs up. Hearts light. Fall deepened. Leaves a carpet of fire. Halloween block party pulsed. Kids in capes. Adults in drag. Elijah as a grease monkey Zorro. Isaiah a tattooed day of the dead skeleton. Bones glowing neon. Karen came as a phoenix. Wings feathered orange. Tom absent but mentioned. He's trying. Slowly, November's chill ushered Thanksgiving anew. Table fuller. Karen and her librarian. Tentative toasts. Mama Hayes blessed the food. Eyes on Karen. Redemption suits you, child. As plates cleared, Elijah caught Isaiah's gaze across the chaos. Love, unshakable, a thread through tempests. December closed the year with snow-globed serenity. New Year's, they watched fireworks from the roof, bundled in quilts, champagne fizzing. To karma, Isaiah toasted, and the strikes that build, not break, Elijah clinked, pulling him near. To us unbroken, their kiss lingered, world fading to the pop of distant booms, hearts a steady drum. Willow Creek slept under stars, a suburb reborn, not perfect, but human, flawed, fierce, full of grace. In the quiet after, Elijah whispered, "Think Karen's happy?" Isaiah smiled against his neck. Happier's learning, and in that learning, they all found their way home.